Yeah, I think so as well. All right, we are live.
Oh, hi.
There we go. Do, do, do. So, how many have you done so far?
I'd say about 6 or 8.
Okay.
Maybe. 6 or 8. Right now I'm just kind of spitfiring it until my supplies arrive. My artsy-tistic supplies.
All right. So, hey guys, thanks for joining in today. I will let you guys know if you have a StreamYard account, it's a free account. You can join me via video chat on your phone. I will post the link right here. You just got to click on that link. Hey Skylar, how you doing?
Hi, Skylar.
Sandy Skidoo's here. What's going on? So, this is a typical thing that stream that I've been doing more lately since I've been stuck at home. Is that a lot of this stuff needs organization. I have so many comic books that are right here and then back there that I don't think you can quite
I
see.
feel like we just moved in.
Yeah, I know. But this is all comic books that I haven't put away for like the past year. So I've had like 5 boxes. I've had 6 boxes. I did 2 so far. And so.
So it's the organized Tim's comic book room
Yeah,
series.
basically. So this is all.
Season 1.
This is all about chit chat. You know what I'm saying? This is all about hanging out and chit chatting. And like I said, if you guys have a StreamYard account, it's free to sign up. And you can join me on your phone. You could use your Chrome browser if you have an Android phone, or your Safari browser if you have an iPhone. And we just chit chat via this way. And you can literally join me on screen and join in the whole thing as well. But in the meantime,
or they can just watch it.
Or they can just watch it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Don't make it so complicated.
I'm just saying, if they want to join in, I'm always down for a live face-to-face chat.
Gotcha. I'm picking up what you put.
Yeah. But this is kind of an average day for us. Like Gretchen's just kind of hanging out over here, sketching in her notebook, and I'm putting away comics. But the thing about these boxes is that I've had these boxes for so long sitting here, I don't even remember what half of the stuff is in this box. So I pull stuff out and I'm like, hey, look at this thing I don't remember I had, right? Isn't this cool?
Let's talk about nerdy
Let's
stuff.
talk about nerdy stuff. Whatever suits your interest, whether it be comic books, movies, Disney, whatever suits your interest, really. So all about the
Time to ask us questions.
Yeah, you want to ask us conversations, that'll work as well. So my past 2 streams, I got all the way through from A to G. I'm literally in the G's right now. In the G's. So, all right, let's unbox this.
G is the best letter of the alphabet.
So let me explain how this works. If you haven't watched the stream before, is that I have to take these boxes that are alphabetically ordered as well and organize them in all of these boxes from A to Z. So I'm in that blank space right there. I'm in G right there. So that's what this box is. And as you can see, this box is loaded with comics. Kristen's here.
Hi, sister.
Hello. As you can see, this box is already full. So I have to empty a lot of this box in order to fit stuff from the new stuff into the box.
This is very complex.
It's a lot of back and forth. As a matter of fact, I left it open last time because the last G box that I was in, this is the stuff that wouldn't fit in the box. So now I have to take that much more out of this box, stick it to the side, because this goes in the front of this box.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm picking up what you put down.
And then organize. I'm in the Green Lantern or Green Arrows right now.
Okay.
So I got to figure out a way to get those in, and then that stack that I took out of the back gets to go in the next box, and it just goes on and on and on. Where eventually this box itself is just loaded with comics.
Maybe you should Oh, you know what? I just realized something. That after you complete doing this alphabetically, you should rearrange it again by the Dewey Decimal System.
That's not a thing anymore.
We can make
That's
it
not a thing anymore. It's not a thing. Sammy says, I love that you have a favorite letter of the alphabet.
I have a favorite everything. I have a favorite number. I have a favorite color. I have a favorite Batman. I have a favorite everything.
Mm-hmm. So, for those of you who do collect comics, are you collecting anything right now? Obviously, the comics have been shut off. The delivery has been closed down for now.
For now, but there's
supposedly the beginning of May, a lot of these comic shops are going to be able to start opening back up because the monopoly, the distribution monopoly, Diamond Distribution, closed their doors during the quarantine, and so nobody got anything. Bookstores weren't really getting anything unless they had a private distributor. No magazines, no nothing like that. So for the longest time, finding new print, like actual physical print, was dead. It was literally dead. Print was dead for a while, but I think it's getting back to its regular situation now.
It's kind of like, you remember in Death Proof when Rosario Dawson's in the Quickie Mart, and the Quickie Mart guy is like, I have Italian Vogue. And she's like, who cares what he wants for that magazine? We're talking about Italian Vogue in the middle of Lebanon, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's what it's going to be like. We're like, I don't care what shop it is. Somebody got a new issue.
I got that new X-Men comic. You want it?
2020.
Right.
That's what life has devolved into.
Sammy says, I rarely meet people who say, quote, I'm picking up what you're putting down, LOL. I say that too. Gretchen says it all the time.
Oh, honey. You have no idea what the weird crap that comes out of my mouth is. Just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Right.
It's about to get weird.
Okay, so I have a bunch of Green Arrows. Actually, a lot of vintage stuff as well. February 1988. I don't know. I know why I picked this one up because it's issue number 1 of a long dead series that I think people don't remember, but I also don't remember picking this up.
What is it?
Green Arrow from 1988.
Oh, look how dapper he is.
Hooded Green Arrow.
He's fancy.
He's fancy. He's got some schmancy with his fancy.
He does.
Sammy says you guys are meant to be friends.
Absolutely. G-Von Cupcake on Instagram. Come on over.
Yeah. All right, so now I gotta pull out all the back end of this. This is basically going to be nothing but like green titles. Like Green Hornet is in the back right here.
Oh, remember the Green Hornet movie? I really enjoyed that.
With Seth Rogen.
With Seth Rogen.
That was funny.
I thought it was cute. I enjoyed it.
It was a nice new spin on a classic situation.
As somebody who didn't read Green Hornet, I'm entertained at the movie. Gotcha. I'm sure those who have read Green Hornet are probably like, this is... Anybody who's ever read a fandom and then it gets made into a movie automatically hate it, so I assume that everybody hates it. I could be wrong. It could be like a treasured classic.
Skylar says, I have only 2 boxes and it's mostly new Star Wars comics and Sandman and a few other random comics. Last stream, I talked about how many Star Wars comics I have. Like every current title that is out is in my hands.
In your possession.
In my possession. The metaphorical term of being in my hands. Yes. There's a whole box down there that is alphabetized in S, and it is literally just Star Wars. It's Darth Vader. It's Dr. Aphra, my favorite Star Wars character, super underrated. I'm hoping that this Disney Plus thing, this rumor, follows through with the Dr. Aphra show. You got Star Wars Adventures, and you got the new Bounty Hunter series that just came out. The Rise of Kylo Ren. The Rise of Kylo Ren. Skylo Ren, you know that.
That's amazing.
The Rise of Kylo Ren series. The last issue is not out yet because it's on pause, but that's an amazing series in itself. As a matter of fact, the first issue I got it graded. I got it CGC graded. and it just tells the story of the rise of Kylo going from Ben Solo to Kylo Ren.
I love Kylo Ren.
This is, I mean, this isn't. This book became hot really fast. Skylar says, "Shout out to me."
Woo!
Sammy says started to read the Infinity Wars story. So yeah, so that one became super popular, um, and hard for people to actually get their hands on unless you're reading it digital. But it has a lot of similarities to the movies, but it's really far off from the movies, especially the whole plot point of why Thanos was doing what he's doing. Um, uh, oh, Randy said, "Oh, Randy read Infinity War." Okay. And that was the thing that I was also talking to Randy about yesterday. Was it yesterday we did a live stream together?
Yeah.
Is that the reason in the story, the reason Thanos was killing off the universe is because he was in love with the entity of death, a very beautiful female in the guise of death.
Okay.
Okay. So the best thing that he could do for her to win over her affections was to offer her massive death, culling of worlds, if you will. So he started going around just destroying the universe in order to get
So he did it all for
love.
Girl.
He did it all for love. He did it all for the affections
Kind
of
of
girl.
romantic and horrifying.
Absolutely, yeah. So then, obviously, all these superheroes start getting together, and they got to They got to figure out a way to just get rid of him. Sammy says, "Yeah, I was doing it in digital. No, it was so different. LOL. I was so confused because I didn't know if I was reading them in the right order." That's the thing with those crossovers is that you don't know unless you are paying attention to the timeline of the individual comics themselves. You don't know where you're jumping in. That's the tough part. But yeah, it's so completely different as opposed to. I mean, I guess they kind of. So that was the thing in the Infinity Wars movies. They kind of made Thanos have a moral point. Like they tried to. They literally tried to.
Justification.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not in a good way, but in a psychotic way.
Right. It may not be a good reason, but it's a reason.
Yes, I need to kill the population so that the population can respect the fact that they're alive almost,
It's a little.
I mean, I'm not going to talk about the. I'm not going to bring up the word of the 1930s and 40s organization over in Germany that was doing a similar situation, but you know what I'm talking about.
It's got a little historical accuracy.
Yes. So Sammy says the story was romantic and horrifying. That's a good way of putting it.
I would be inclined to agree with that.
Yes. Romantic and horrifying.
That's awesome.
That's accurate. That is accurate.
Perfect.
What you do for love, that's any good basis for a sociopath, like a serial killer sort of storyline,
Okay.
Or a stalker storyline. I did it for love.
I mean, stalkers love people more than anybody else loves people.
That's apparently true, right?
Yes.
She goes, yeah, I needed my own personal comic book nerd to help me on the order, LOL. Like, I still never figured out the whole Gamora, I'm old and living in the Soul Stone, but I'm totally evil. I'm confused. So Gamora is completely different. Was it Gamora? Or not Gamora, Nebula. I think maybe it was Gamora. Nebula and Gamora have a strange difference compared to the movies. So Gamora was, I thought it was Nebula that was sacrificed eventually for the Soul Stone in the comics.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read that book. Hello, Mark Shepard from Missouri. How are you doing? It's good to see or talk to you again. How's everybody doing up in the good old Missouri, the Midwest?
I love the Shepard family. They're the only family I know that will like karaoke on the reg just because it's like Tuesday.
Right.
And I dig it.
Yes.
I'm here for that.
Family house parties are always fun.
They always made us feel like a part of the family.
Okay, so now getting past G.I. Joe, got your Gotham City Sirens in here, babe.
Oh,
Yeah.
just number 2 because I have number
We have
1.
number 1 on your wall, yes.
That's right.
We love you guys. We really do. All right, Gotham City. Here we go. Green Arrow. Now, which order do I put this in? Because what year did this come out?
Oh my gosh, this rabbit hole goes that deep.
Well, yeah. Like here's Green Arrow number 1, and here's Green Arrow number 1. But what series? What year did they come out?
Oh my gosh! So you have it sorted by
You gotta go.
series?
So you gotta go by cover date or cover price. This one was 60 cents, and this one's $1. So this one is obviously new because inflation.
That's impressive. I'm in awe of your filing skills.
But so I was talking about the super flaws of my filing skills before because when it comes to the Star Wars series, a lot of them say Star Wars Darth Vader or Star Wars, subtitle, whatever it might be. And so I was going through and putting a lot of them just under Star Wars. But then I realized later on, like Dr. Aphra was filing under D, or Darth, most of those were filed under D. Darth Maul, Dr. Aphra, Darth Vader,
Okay.
But then it was like, unless I didn't file Star Wars Adventures under A, that was still under Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So my filing system is heavily flawed. I'm not going to deny that, especially when it comes to Superman. Okay, now a lot of the title of the comic, Action Comics, is Action Comics. Okay,
Correct.
but now they're making them as Superman in Action Comics. So I'm filing them all under Superman because it makes it that much easier.
Okay.
Or Batman and Detective Comics. I file all the Detective Comics under Batman. It's flawed, but it makes sense up here.
You know what? You are the only person that needs to understand your filing system. Because,
Right.
I mean, I don't ever foresee myself coming to a point in my life where I need to climb up here and pick out a comic book. I would just tell you to do it.
Hey there, poor Mike. Still painting that room. Thanks, man. Cool room you have there. Thank you. I have a little bit better of a setup today. I got a little bit more lighting. I've got the wide angle lens on the room, so you can see more as opposed. Like before, it was just like cutting off like right here. You can only really see part of my table and the comics, but now you get to see the whole situation. Well, most of the situation anyway. But yeah. Okay, where was I?
In the G box.
In the G box.
That's the letter of the alphabet.
It took me. So this Green Arrow series, I had actually been on the hunt for a long time. Believe it or not, I actually started reading this Green Arrow series because it was starting to be written by Kevin Smith, who actually really writes comic book characters really well. Believe it or not, despite how you feel about his, modern Cheech and Chong, toilet humor movies or whatever, he writes comic books and superheroes really well. He's actually gone on to write episodes of The Flash.
Really?
Yeah, I know he directed a couple episodes of The Flash TV series.
Okay.
He's done Supergirl, stuff like that, and he knows. I mean, he's always been a big comic book fan. He actually sold his entire original comic book collection so that he can make money to film Clerks. And then when he made his money, he went and bought a comic book store and rebuilt his own collection.
Yeah.
Jane Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
Right.
So I started reading this Green Arrow series, and then it was 2001, Ben. You remember that time in our life in 2001? We were very poor, very broke, couldn't really keep a job that well, kind of bouncing apartment to apartment, So I lost track of being able to complete the series for years on end. And so it's been since then, and a couple years ago, I finally finished the whole series.
Nice.
I found back issues, dollar bins, all sorts of stuff like that. So
that was worth the effort.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's kind of fun, like being able to either get back things that you had as a child, or get the things that you always wanted as a child?
Gretchen is actually back there jotting down. She's sketching in the book. So, if you follow her on her Instagram, and I know Kristen, I know you do. If you follow her on her Instagram over Jivan Cupcake, um, people have been pressuring you,
Yeah, well, encouraging heavily.
strongly encouraging her to start an Etsy store where she sells these skulls that she makes.
Yeah, I just like to paint these skulls and put like sculptural pieces.
She puts little crystals on them and everything like that. I'm gonna go grab one.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab
You're
one.
gonna leave me all by myself?
Yes.
No friends?
Entertain the people.
Oh, entertain the people. Let me entertain you. No, but I like to take these skulls and I paint them and I put on like rhinestone applique, crystals, and I kind of just create like these little art pieces. And I make them just for my house because I don't like anything I see in the store, so I gotta make my own stuff. And I didn't realize these were a thing that people would like be interested in, but apparently so.
Kristen says, "Get that money, honey." Skylar says, "I love the skulls. She makes them so fab." So here's one that she painted all herself and put the little thing on the eyeball. And then this one actually sits on. This one sits between us when we eat dinner.
It sits in a bell jar.
Yes, a glass like covered jar. This guy right here, if I can. The light is so bright, but she completely painted it, covered in stones, and then there's like crystals in the eye there. So people have been saying, they walk into the house and they go, "Do you sell those?" And she goes, "No, I never really thought about it." And they go, "Well, if you ever do, I want one." So now she's back there like jotting up different designs.
Yeah, I figure why not? I mean, I've had enough people ask me for them that I don't think it's completely dumb. So I mean, okay,
right?
Here they come.
I'm gonna go put them back so you don't yell at me.
Yeah. Now you're gonna put fingerprints on my well-placed dust. Very well-placed dust. So yeah, I've been jotting some ideas down, and I ordered a crap ton of art supplies from as many small businesses as I possibly could, and then of course mainstream businesses as well. And so those should all start showing up soon. So in the meantime, I've been sketching and coming up with some fun ideas. So
yeah,
keep an eye out for my Etsy shop coming.
Keep an eye out for my new line about to drop soon.
I'm about to drop a new line. It'll be some kind of title I haven't figured out yet, but somewhere Von Cupcake, because that seems to suit me perfectly fine. Yes. So as soon as I actually have everything ready to go, we'll make a big announcement. So.
Mm-hmm. So I was telling you about collecting this Green Arrow series.
Right.
All 75 issues. I had originally collected just 10, so I have 65 issues from 13 years ago that I need to. It ended in 2007.
So you stopped at 10, and now you need to go to 65.
And now I have 65 more I need to catch up on.
I see.
That I never caught up on.
Okay.
To be fair, that is a majority of the collection.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yes. All right. Also, if you guys follow comic books and know that DC Comics likes to restart their series all the time,
what up with that?
The New 52 Green Arrow, I think they tried to follow through with the youngness of Green Arrow, like after...
Like New Hottie Green Arrow from the TV show?
Yeah.
Not the
So,
Robin Hood Green Arrow, but like the hot, sexy one?
When they did the New 52...
I'm not mad about
when
that.
they did the New 52 stuff, they tried to like not euthanize, because that's a completely different thing. Reduce the age of all the heroes.
Make them all younger.
It just didn't work.
They gave them
if he doesn't have the Van Dyke going on, then
there is something about a mustache.
It's a classic look.
But I mean, New Green Arrow's much better eye candy.
So apparently, this is going to just basically go all the way. I'm gonna barely touch this. Like, I'm just going to have to immediately go to the next box because these are going to fit in here, and then that's going to be that.
And that was all.
And that was all. Just boom. And let's see here. Green Hornet in the Spirit. Green Hornet 66 in the Spirit. That can basically go anywhere.
The Spirit, like the noir.
Yeah.
I liked that movie.
I did too. I like the Spirit movie and Sin City, both done by Frank Miller and did Robert Rodriguez? No, he didn't do the Spirit, right? He just did Sin City.
I think
Yeah, the stylizing.
I'm not a movie expert, and I get names butchered.
The stylizing is very similar for sure.
Yeah, it's got that old noir Hollywood style.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's got ScarJo in it.
Well, that is basically it for this box.
The G-Box!
Now I got to go into the next G-Box.
Because you can't just have one G-Box.
Where's the lid? Here it is. Okay.
This is fun, babe. Usually I'm like at work.
Look at this frame. I forgot I had this frame from Loot Crate. It's basically Bill and Ted in the phone booth.
That's amazing.
And then you like put your own photo back there, so you're like in the phone booth with them.
I need this.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this existed?
No, I showed you before. It was like one of those fleeting things. It's literally been up there for a couple years. Cool.
It.
You can have it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
That's amazing. I love it so much.
Did you guys watch the Tiger King episode, the last one that came out? Yeah, I was kind of disappointed with it. Like
the Tiger King and I.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do with it? Like
you're
like, Joel, come up with something.
I was kind of hoping so and so was busted for a sex cult. You know, like well, so Doc Antle wasn't in there because he got raided by the FBI.
So crazy.
Yeah. But and then I've not watched any Tiger King. You know, I feel like the hype is ruining it for a lot of people when it comes to the Tiger King.
I think
the
so
memes
too.
And the hype everywhere is just, but it's worth a watch. Well, especially for us because this literally happened half an hour north of us. Big Cat Habitat is just north of us, and so
say it all the time. It's south of us.
South of us. It is south of us.
But
up and down.
She lives half an hour
north of us. That's right.
The Big Cat.
She's kind of in Tampa, and Big Cat Habitat is outside of the Sarasota area, and so yeah, you know it's a popular attraction down here.
We tried to go.
Yeah.
But
so I have this problem that so Gretchen's birthday is the Ides of March. It's March 15th. Every year. Of every year.
Damn right.
And so every year when I plan something for her, it always falls through horribly. And it's not anything that I did wrong. It's all about the timing. So one year I wanted to take her to Universal Studios to go see Blue Man Group.
Yep.
Well, the only tickets that were all tickets were sold out except for her month. And you know why they weren't sold out? Because they go on a break for the entire month. So I couldn't take her for her birthday, right?
Because my birthday falls right before like busy season. So it's like at the end of the slow season. But after the holidays. It's like right before spring break hits and all hell breaks loose in the world in Florida. So
yeah.
That's what happens is this is the end of everybody's relaxing vacation before we all got to hit the ground running with spring break.
What was the reason we couldn't go to Big Cat Habitat? What was that?
They were on vacation.
Oh, that's right. They went on vacation at the same time. That's right.
They were like...
They closed down the park.
Closing down so they could do something with the Tiger King.
Yeah, renovations and all sorts of stuff. And then for our wedding anniversary a couple of years ago, I dropped a ton of money to go and see Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks was playing down here in Tampa. And
we're not huge country fans,
but she loves Garth Brooks.
I still do, but I've always liked Garth.
We got to admit, even if you don't like country music, the guy puts on a crazy show. He puts on a hell of a show. His energy all across the stage is impressive.
Right. Exactly.
So that was the year that the Tampa Bay Lightning decided that, hey, they're going to make a run for the Stanley Cup.
Sports.
So they had to cancel. And he never came back to Tampa.
He came to Orlando.
He went to Orlando on a Thursday night. Like, that doesn't do us any good.
Jobs.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, if you've not watched any Tiger King, I think you get the gist for the most part. There's so many memes out there.
You don't have to watch it. It's cool. You just don't have to know what's going on in the world. That's your prerogative, man. I'm just teasing. Also, it is pretty funny. Do like
It is.
But you know what? We don't
a
like.
spectacle.
But there is just a butt for every seat because we don't care for other reality TV. We don't
I've
watch
not watched
The
The Witcher.
Bachelor, we don't watch.
I want to watch The
Witcher.
Witcher, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's like, but we don't dig on The Bachelor and stuff like that. And other people think that's.
I don't like
amazing.
reality shows.
But
I used to like
Tiger
reality shows.
King, which
Yes.
is kind of so,
Yeah, that's more of a.
Is this really reality? Is this
Right.
real life? So you know, that's why there's more than one flavor of ice cream. So you don't want to watch it, you don't have to, but you should because it's pretty freaking amazing.
Ugh.
That looks heavy.
It is heavy. All right.
Must be hard work.
So now, once again, I have to take out the tail end of this box to put in the stuff that I took out of the last box up in the front, and still make room for the next stuff in the filing box.
Ooh, I'm buzzing.
Nobody's calling you.
No, nobody's. Oh, hi, Danica.
Oh, is she watching?
Yes, this is
Nice.
Hello, hello, hello. Not really doing anything too much.
No, this is just a casual hangout on a Sunday.
Arguing.
Arguing? Are we arguing?
No.
Oh.
I'm sure we will, though. I'm always right until I'm not.
I can't wait for this new He-Man show to show up on Netflix.
I was just like, that looks like He-Man.
There's two of them, apparently. There's an animated one. There's like two different animated ones, I think.
They keep saying that
One-
one by
One by Kevin Smith for sure, because it's like already in production.
That don't mean nothing nowadays.
Skylar goes about Tiger King. She goes, yeah, I know the basic story, but the guys look so out there. I just haven't ever taken the time. We have been binging Nancy Drew, so we don't have any time for anything else right now. Nancy Drew, no kidding. Is there
That's
a new?
because she's so scholarly.
You need to. Rainey says we need to watch the Creep Show TV show. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Especially since our good friend Nick Morgan. You guys on Instagram should go follow the Foolish Morgans. Our friend Nick Morgan is a set designer and set dresser, and he worked on every episode of the new Creep Show show. I think it's filmed up. Is it filmed in Georgia?
Yeah.
Because that, anyway,
It's very good.
you need to go check it out. Definitely go check out the Creep Show. I honestly have not watched it yet.
But we've
only
seen
because
pictures of the
We have
set,
seen,
though.
we have seen a lot of stuff from Creep Show, but we don't have Shudder. My
Not yet.
brother tried to lend me his account, but it's linked to like Amazon, and so that makes things messy, if you will. So, but
We'll get it. It's not a matter. It's just a matter of how many streaming services do you possibly need. Like we have.
that's
so
the
many.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So we have Amazon, we have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have Disney Plus, and then we also have DC Universe, which a lot of people kind of crap on that service, but it offers a lot that I think they're not advertising, that people aren't paying attention to.
You know what though? The DC Universe has given us some really great shows.
So the Harley Quinn cartoon on there is not meant for children.
And it is awesome.
Do not let your children watch the Harley Quinn cartoon unless you have to answer very sexual questions. I will just throw that out there.
It is a grown-up rated TV show.
Absolutely.
But it is phenomenal if you're down with like new.
The
things
writing
with
is amazing.
Harley. I believe it's Paul Motti and Connor that are involved in it.
They're producers on it. So Paul Motti and Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, who have been huge in the modern lore of Harley Quinn, are producers on it. So it's done right.
But it's really funny. I encourage everybody to get it. If you're a Harley fan, like I love Harley, my best friend loves Harley, and
So yeah. So I just happen to have a box of H's right here. a box full of Harley Quinn.
That's probably all my heart.
And so from the New 52, pretty much up straight through the Rebirth era, they just got off the comic, but for years you will literally see these two names on it. She's the artist and he's the writer. They're married. Um,
Super nice.
yeah, super nice people. Jimmy Palmiotti actually flirted with Gretchen one time.
He did not.
He
don't flirt with me.
You got one. You got one of your Harley Quinn comic signings.
I did. Right? Yeah, one of my graded. Well, it's graded now, but
yeah. Well, what he said something about your age. Something about.
He said I look like an old.
Oh no, he said something about college, and Gretchen goes, "Oh no, I'm beyond my college years."
Oh, he asked me if I was still in college.
If he was still in college, and Gretchen was like 33 at the time. And Gretchen goes, "No, I'm a solid decade beyond my college years." And he looks at her and he goes, "Good for you."
I got my Grady's good genes. What can I say?
So look at these.
And I do a lot of skincare, so that's probably.
So I pulled out some vintagey horror ones the other day. This is along the same line. Grimm's Ghost Stories. I love these old anthology horror comics like Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I got this for $1.25. What was the ones I pulled up the other day, Rainy? Boris Karloff's Weird Tales or something like that?
This is fun.
And just for the sheer fact that it had Boris Karloff on it. I mean, I had to get it.
Boris Karloff. I remember this little logo.
Oh, yeah. So Wiltman was known for reissuing books at the time and kind of doing the independent publishing as well. So how many?
I had books like that as a kid.
How many images of a costumed Boris Karloff do we have in our living room?
Boris Karloff is
as Frankenstein.
10.
Yeah, we have a lot of Frankenstein in our living room.
Well, our living room is like. It's supposed to be like meant to be together, so we have like the bride and Frank, and then we have Gomez and Morticia.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that's like our theme in our living room is meant to be together.
Let's see here. Grim Ghost go before Grim Fairy Tales.
Grim Ghost, not to socialize.
So there is, if you are a fan of like slasher movies like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, stuff like that. There's a book out there that I've been reading for literally years. It's called Hack Slash. And it's about this woman who teams up with a monster. Not a monster, just a heavily deformed guy. Very Jason Voorhees looking, but he's like kind of simple-minded, if you will.
Okay.
But
he's the stereotypical slasher.
Yeah, so he's a big hulking guy with a gas mask on his face, if you will.
It looks like Bane.
Yeah, it's almost like Bane. Like this is a good guy right here, being attacked by an evil person. But anyway, this.
A sidebar: Bane in the Harley Quinn cartoon.
Hilarious.
Freaking hilarious. Anyway, continue.
But so this book here, Hack Slash, it's everything that everybody knows about slasher films. It's got the admittedly skippily dressed heroine female, sidekicked by a just big hulking brute, and they go around killing slashers. They call them slashers. People like they actually have issues where they fought Chucky. You know what I'm saying? But then a lot of the characters are actually new to the comic themselves. But it's been an interesting book for years. Okay, so here's okay. So to be fair, here's what he looks like. Big hulking dude. Okay. Now keep in mind, I did say she's a scantily dressed female, and so that's what she looks like. Granted, I don't know how you get around.
Oh, she's got all the junk out.
I don't know how you go around, killing slashers dressed as that, but she has a big Negan baseball bat.
I mean, that's what I would wear.
But that's
traipsing through the woods.
But that's it making fun of the. It's a stereotype.
Sure.
Right. So, one reason I bring this up is because I'm technically tabling at a online Comic-Con this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
Next weekend, not today, but next weekend. And so the person that is in line next to me, I guess technically virtually tabling next to me, is the guy who writes those comics. And I've been a big fan for a long time. His name is Tim Seeley. I met him at MegaCon a couple of years ago. Just a super duper nice guy.
That's exciting.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if the individual issues are hard to come across, but they do make these omnibuses, these thick omnibuses of. I have the first three of this story. I have the first three myself, but yeah, it's a fun read in general.
That's cool. You're almost due for a second bookcase.
I know. I almost do need a second bookshelf.
That's why you got to get these boxes all put up so we have room to put some more storage in here. Get on it.
Rainey says, "Can you think of any comic book characters that got killed off and never came back, except Batman's parents?" Yeah.
I love you, Rainey.
It is. Let me think about that because Jason Todd came back though.
Did he come back?
Yeah.
I just really wanted to talk about Jason Todd getting killed.
He's Red Hood now. Yeah, he's Red Hood now. Here's a question too. Let me think about that, Rainey. But
if I met Jason Todd at a convention, I would give him the Joffrey treatment.
But Skylar says, "What's a good creepy comic but does not contain a lot of gore?" I got one for you right here.
I'm right there with you, Skylar. I don't like too much gore. A little bit's okay, but when it's excessive, I can't do it. It's too much.
This book right here, called Harrow County, written by one of my favorite writers of all time, Cullen Bunn. So this book is about a area, I can't remember what state it's supposed to be in, but an area called Harrow County. And it was part of a time when witches were being burned at the stake.
Okay. So it's like 1400.
Yeah, but now, but like come back to like early 1900s, okay? And the witch, the whole county is still like late 1800s, early 1900s. Into the future, the witch resurrects.
Okay.
Okay, but in the meantime, the whole county has kind of had this eerie presence about the fact that the witch was a big presence there, and you can kind of still feel her presence throughout everything. That and the woods are haunted with creatures, like real creatures, like little demonish creatures. But like, it's like if you come across an armadillo, it's not going to hurt you unless you really bother it.
Armadillos are kind of cute.
Exactly. So these little creatures, they're like,
like little
they're about as big as serious rabbit, but they like,
little gremlins.
Little gremlins, yes.
Gremlins.
But then you also
non-mischievous.
You also have some more dangerous creatures out there in the woods as well. But there's this girl who lives on a farm with her grandpa, or it's with her dad, and turns out she has a very supernatural connection to this witch.
Of course she does.
Right.
Why wouldn't she?
But so it's got some eerie concepts to it, okay, Skylar? So it does have one point in time where there's a boy with, so it's actually here.
I say don't give away too much.
I'm not going to give away too much, but there's a box here, and that's skin of an arm. The skin has no body, but is alive. Okay, so it's that sort of.
It's creepy, not gross.
Creepy, not gross. There's not a lot of gore, not a lot of bloodshed, but there is a lot of like fighting against bad creatures. So, also another one that you need to look up is, dang it, what is it called? I loved this book, and I was just talking about it the other day. Why can't I think of it? I'll have to get back to you. It starts with a B, and I don't want to climb all the way up there to go get my B comics. But it's basically about a black family in Harlem, modern day Harlem. And it's this family that has forever been fighting monsters. Monsters still exist within the society, and it's their family that takes care of them. and it's not gory, it's not bloodshed or anything like that. But you have almost comic superhero-ish battles between monsters and people trying to defeat them.
In Harlem.
In Harlem, in New York City, yes. And I like the fact that they include this whole diversity of a black family in Harlem, and it really does add to the whole dynamic of that family in general.
I love when you can make things as diverse as possible.
Yeah. Thank you for the recommendation. I'll look into it. Okay, excellent. Cullen Bunn does a lot of gross stuff, so Harrow County, I think, is the safe pick for now.
That gives you it's the Vaughn stamp.
I do give it a stamp of approval because I love this guy's writing. As a matter of fact, I mean, I've got one of his books here. Yeah, so the giveaway that I did for our 100th subscribers, we gave away 40 autographed Cullen Bunn books.
We're getting really close to 300 subscribers. We should think about a giveaway. What kind of giveaway should we do?
Yeah,
should we do a Disney giveaway? Should we do a comic book giveaway?
I don't know. So
something to think about.
I've got this book here. It's called A Passage in Black. This is just a bunch of short stories by Cullen Bunn, but then he did a Kickstarter where they did that's actually what he looks like on the cover there. They did a Kickstarter of illustrated comic books based off of stories in this book here. This is good stuff. And then I followed another one of his Kickstarters that he co-wrote with, of all people, Brian Quinn of Impractical Jokers. It's called Metro. This is not for children. This is actually very disgusting and disturbing stuff. So I don't recommend that. Unless you're an adult, that is. I'm getting nowhere with this box.
The G-Box.
I'm talking too much, but I love talking to you guys, so I'm all about it. This doesn't have a deadline. This is going to be here. This doesn't have a deadline, so it's not bothering me at all.
Yeah.
So, following the death of Thanos, they really started capitalizing that in Marvel Comics after they killed him off in Endgame.
They're like, dude,
if you haven't seen that, then A, shame on you, and B, too bad. It's been like almost 2 years. So Thanos died.
Right. At what point do you still have to say spoiler alert?
Exactly.
Like, well, I was reading The Great Gatsby.
Right.
And spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Like, where do you draw the line? I say 2 years is fair enough.
So they started capitalizing on a new Guardians of the Galaxy series where Thanos is getting resurrected, but he's not Thanos. Whose body is Thanos about to infect? Or not infect, but incorporate, right?
Okay.
That was kind of the whole thing about it. Spoilers, it was Drax. So...
he has perfected the ability to become invisible by standing still.
Yes. And admittedly, I was just like, okay, I'll read this book. I never really collected a Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy series before. I'm trying to keep these from slipping. Until they said, hey, this character is going to be in there, and it's my new modern favorite comic book guy from Marvel Comics. I've talked about him quite a bit on these streams, and that is Cosmic Ghost Rider. So there he is in the middle of the cover there. They're like, oh, he's going to be in the new Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was like, fantastic. Yeah, he was in the series for like 2 issues. Like, they made it sound like he was going to be a big prominent role in there. And it didn't happen. Cosmic Ghost Rider, if for those of you not familiar, is the Punisher. He is Frank Castle. But Frank Castle died, and then he got resurrected by Mephisto to become the new Spirit of Vengeance. Okay. And then he became the Herald of Galactus after that.
Oh, like Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, he survived till the end of time when Galactus came to Earth and was like, "I'm going to finish up the planet."
Talk about not getting to have any consequences for your.
Yeah, and so he's basically there, like, "Hey, go. I got nothing going on. If you need a little sidekick, I could, help you out." So he became Cosmic Ghost Rider. So he goes back in time to kill baby Thanos before he could become who he is. All right.
Okay.
So this Pop has a little baby Thanos chained to his chest. So he goes back in time to kill baby Thanos. Okay. Realizes, hey,
Oh,
realizes,
he's so cute.
hey, I still have a little bit of moral ambiguity to me. I could kill the kid, but it's probably best that I don't kill the kid. So I'm gonna take the kid, the baby Thanos, and I'm gonna raise him to do right. Okay. Well, in the end, you learn that baby Thanos is going to be Thanos regardless. Thanos is going to be Thanos no matter how well you raise him. The guy is a titan. He's a despot. No matter how much good you think you put in his life, he will take that good and turn it around to be something completely wrong. And so um, he became the new Punisher in a post-apocalyptic future.
Jeez Louise.
Right? So it was a whole bunch of just a bunch of bad news there. But that series cracks me up because he's got that Deadpool sense of humor. Because think about it, the guy has lived literally through the end of time. You kind of crack up a little bit. You kind of lose your head a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he's got that kind of almost break the fourth wall mentality of loopiness going on.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that's always been stern and grim. He's a freaking Punisher. He's out to kill mob bosses and this and that. But now he's like a completely different character, and I think that's why I love it so much.
Okay.
All right, let me put away these Guardians. Guardians.
So what book do you have the most G's?
Definitely Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. You are really into
I still
Green
love Green Arrow. He's a fantastic, underrated character.
Like you were vibing on him for years.
Two hugely underrated DC characters are Shazam and Green Arrow.
Shazam.
I love Shazam.
That movie changed my ideas about Shazam because I didn't really pay very much attention to your. I'm not a big fan of DC heroes, so I was like, okay, whatever. He's Shazam, cool.
Yeah.
Whatevs. But it wasn't until I saw the movie, and then I saw how much you were happy with the movie, being a fan of the comics, that I had a better understanding of what that character was. Now I freaking love him. I think he's just so
hilarious,
cute.
right?
He's hilarious and he's cute. His little friends are adorable.
So it is a big change from the original concept of Captain Marvel or Shazam, of when he transformed. He was in a very moral, adult, mature individual.
Okay.
Now they keep him as the child's mentality with a strong moral sensibility.
Okay.
But he still has that kid mentality in an adult body. That's the concept that really grabs me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you had the physical capability of a very strong, well-built superhero adult, but the mentality's still of a 12-year-old
Exactly.
kid.
Yeah.
That's why that kid was in the strip club so many times. We don't know what
That's the place that you thought of? If you've not seen the Shazam movie, please go watch it and keep an open mind. It's a very lighthearted movie. A lot of good comedic aspects, and I think it was the spin that DC Comics needed to do in their movies to make them not so grim and dark. But they didn't follow through with it properly, I don't think. Like DC Comics isn't doing anything now. The Flash movie, I think, got canceled. They had a couple other plans for different things. But instead, they're doing these like one-offs, like the Joker, which is not anything close to what Shazam was.
No, but it was fantastic.
Oh, it's a good movie.
But it's like apples to oranges. You can't really compare the two. Other than the fact that they're both based off of comic book characters. Right. One is a dark drama, and the other one is like a lighthearted family movie with superheroes in it.
Yeah.
Kind of cool how they weave that all to be like in the same world, though. I think that's a really fun concept.
Here's the ultimate goth comic going on right now. It's talking about Hack Slash versus the Crow. Now that is a goth daydream right there.
I couldn't get into the Crow. Like I seen the first movie.
The only good Crow was the first one. The second one wasn't bad. It was a very dark movie, and then they just go low budget after that. And there was a TV show on the USA Network.
It's
you
like
remember
the
that?
Interview with the Vampire. The first movie's fantastic, and then the adjacent Anne Rice movies.
Yeah.
Just got terrible.
Yeah. Randy says Cosmic Ghost Rider should have kicked Thanos off a cliff. That's the thing. He literally was going to have to take him and drop him into a neutron star to kill him because he's so highly indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
Kicking him off a cliff or a building or something like that ain't gonna do nothing. It's just gonna make the kid pissed because he was already a little piece of crap to begin with. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a word.
It is a word.
It is a word.
Have you heard?
So what is everybody up to today? Let me know. What are you guys doing? Like, I know you're not just sitting here just staring at the stream, being completely enthralled. What are you guys up to today? I know you probably have this on in the background.
So enthralled.
Yeah, I know you guys probably have this on in the background. So what are you guys hanging out and doing?
I'm gonna need a lot of craft supplies. I'm coming up with some pretty cool crap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys have going on for the week? You know, I'll probably do another stream later on this week as well. I don't really know. I'm working on some art prints. I'm working on some exclusive things that I might have posted snippets of on Instagram, stuff like that, on my Instagram at TV Artworks. But I'm working on some new 10 by 10 prints that I plan on having up for the con. And I don't know if they'll be up after the con, but just kind of have that exclusive thing. And I don't know exactly how this con is going to work for the artists in Artist Alley. You know, if anything, just to maybe kind of drive some traffic to our.
Like, is it like going to be like, here is a couple pieces of your art and click the link to your Etsy shop?
That's a good question. So I've noticed that a couple artists on Artist Alley, like they have half-hour increments that they're going to be doing on their YouTube channel. Okay. So it's like half-hour interview here, half-hour this, half-hour panel of this, and so they have a ton of content planned for this con at half-hour increments, and I know that some of the artists are doing like interviews and like live sketches and stuff like that.
That's fun. Are you you're gonna do a live sketch maybe?
I don't know what's going on exactly. I might do a independent thing on our YouTube and then like link towards going to the Etsy store or something like that. So or link towards the mainframecomiccon.com website and see how that is.
Okay. I think that's cool. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see some new artists and stuff.
So let's see here. We got a couple of responses on what people are doing.
Okay.
Daryl says, I'm just sitting here staring at the screen. Is
it? Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and then Skylar goes, Daryl is making Harry Potter like wands for Cody's birthday. That's actually really cool. That is really cool. And then Daryl goes, oh, and I'm doing that. He responded, he's staring at the screen. Then
it's
Skylar called him out. So.
It's multitasking.
And then Skylar goes, I'm pouring champagne for myself and making Coda dinner. I literally, as I glanced at that, thought she said,
bougie.
I thought she said, I'm pouring champagne on myself and making Coda dinner. I was like, that's a day. That's a day.
You know, you don't question days like that.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing?
Pouring champagne on myself.
All right.
This is how we roll.
I don't question it. If you go, girl. Hustle.
Kristen goes, Robot Vac is doing its thing, and I'm searching recipes for dinner. We want a robot back, so that,
We're researching
especially with the rabbit, it helped clean up the rabbitness.
that. I mean, neither of us like to vacuum, so.
Remy says a nice shirt, nice Roger shirt. I've never seen that one before. Yeah, I wear this one quite often, actually. I know we were just talking about the Roger Rabbit stuff yesterday. This was my day after Halloween shirt because I was Roger Rabbit for Halloween, and I was like, we're gonna be doing some filming the day after. I need to like continue wearing the Roger Rabbit stuff. But yeah, this is a nice shirt. I got this on Amazon for $12.
Who doesn't love a
Who
$12
doesn't love a
shirt?
$12 shirt? Granted, it's kind of cheap and the it's kind of fraying
Well,
a
then
little
you
bit.
can buy two. You can buy another one.
Right. There you go.
Well, I'm always cold, so I'm basically always in a hoodie or.
Yeah, she's in this bomb ass hoodie, this yellow hoodie that we went on a hunt for. I don't know.
It's the best dollars I ever spent.
It was during the Sunday Fun Day video on our YouTube channel that she had to
our
go.
last day at Magic Kingdom.
It was. Well, no, it wasn't. Our last day at Magic. No, it was Magic Kingdom.
Our last day at Magic
Not at
Kingdom.
Disney, but at Magic Kingdom. Yes. Yeah, last day at Disney was at Epcot for her birthday. At least that panned out this year, right?
Oh yeah, I ate like a king, a queen.
But then Disney closed the day after, so.
But you know, one of the things about being there on their last operation day was that you could tell that the people who were there were like true Disney fans, and I really liked the camaraderie that was there that day. It was very nice.
So a while back, DC Comics did this crossover. DC owns the Warner Brothers cartoon characters.
Oh, okay.
They also own Hanna-Barbera characters as well. They've been doing stuff with those. But a while back, DC decided, hey, let's take some of our popular superheroes and villains and cross them over with Warner Brothers cartoon characters.
Okay.
So this is Harley Quinn, and I think we've all seen the monster Gossamer before. The big big hairy red monster. So that's the crossover comic. Did you read this? It's in the box.
Yeah, I guess I did read it if it's in the box.
But I love these. One that I put away the other day was when I was doing the C's was Catwoman and Tweety Bird.
Yes.
And Sylvester was like her mink. What do they call that?
Stole.
Mink stole around her
Yes.
neck, going after the bird.
I remember that.
That was a fun one. All right, so we're getting into the Harley Quinn comics. How many Harley Quinn #1s from the New 52 do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
I have no idea. A lot.
I mean, you've got like the basic one right here, but how many are on your wall? Like, how many did we get graded and put on your wall because they're like signed and they're like 1 out of 50 variants, and we have a number.
There's probably
custom sketch covers.
6 or 8.
Yeah.
How many do I have? All of them.
Yeah, basically, right?
All of them.
Okay, so looks like I have to take out a chunk back here. More of the He-Mans. The He-Mans.
I love He-Man.
He-Man, man. Oh, so one of my childhood dreams happened a couple years ago, about a year ago in comics, is when He-Man and the Masters of the Universe crossed over with Thundercats. I actually have a book over here on the wall. I know you can't see it. It's this book right here that I colored myself. It's DC Comics had these what they called adult coloring book comics for a while, and you could color them in and get them graded. You could actually get your own signature series.
I have one too.
We each have two. We each have 2 signature series with our signature on the cover, and we are labeled as the colorists for the cover art, which is really cool.
It's fun.
But the fact that you got to see
Lion-O and He-Man.
Well, He-Man's Battle Cat. Battle Cat got to become a Thundercat.
Oh,
And it was amazing.
Not Cringer, but Battle Cat.
Okay.
Okay.
No, maybe it was Cringer. But I mean, one and the same. But I think I think it was.
Because when he has his armor on,
I know.
he gets all sassy.
I know. He becomes a badass when he puts on that armor.
Yeah,
I get
he's
it.
like, he's off of it, he's just a cuddly kid.
Yeah.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Yes. But yeah, he became a Thundercat, and
that's precious.
that was amazing.
That's adorable. I like that idea.
It was like within the last issue. I got to look it up now.
That's a lot of He-Man.
I have a lot of He-Man. I have almost every He-Man comic, like literally almost every He-Man comic.
You have all of them.
Okay. Let's see here. So Skeletor absorbed the power of Mumra, by the way, and they kind of became one entity.
Oh man.
Which was bad news.
Who do you like better, Skeletor or Mumra?
That's a good question. I don't know. They're both screw ups in their own way, right?
They really are, but I think Skeletor is funnier.
Okay.
Mumra's always trying to be serious. He's just screws it up all the time. But he's like, Skeletor is actually tries to be a little witty, but it like bounces off of him in a comedic manner.
I get that. That makes sense.
Oh, he's just an ass. I love Skeletor. Evil Lynn was like my dream. I loved her. She was fierce.
She was fierce, and that I think that was a big thing about it was how, and even in the comics they go over about how much she was always constantly trying to screw over Skeletor.
Oh yeah, she was definitely a woman on a mission.
Right.
Climbing her way to the top, however the heck she could do it. But you gotta respect the hustle. Always respect the hustle.
I can't find it. Dang. It's a limited series, so I only have so many issues I can look at. Oh, here it is. Here he is. Look at this. That is Cringer as a freaking Thundercat right there. He looks badass.
Badass. Oh wow.
Yeah. He looks like a big old feral saber-toothed
He's
sort of
got
creature.
the Thundercat logo.
Do I like the Masters of the Universe 80s movie? It has its place. It's along the lines of like we were talking about Ghost Rider the other day.
I enjoy that. That's super cute.
Where like Ghost Rider is a craptastic movie, but it's Nick Cage.
Yes, and he does it in a very Nick Cage way.
And that's what I've said multiple times is that you use Nick Cage as a description for a movie. Like, what do you think about that movie? It's very Nick Cage, and everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yes, it's dramatic and it's grossly overacted, but it's done in such a fabulous, charming, charismatic manner that you just love it.
Skylar says she agrees with you on Skeletor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. More entertaining.
Does Nick Cage ever do anything in a non-Nick Cage way?
Why would he?
Why would he?
Why would he?
Exactly.
He is his own self, and it is beautiful.
Well,
I think he tries to, and it just fumbles. Like he just can't help himself.
Mm-hmm.
He probably starts out. He's like, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this."
Can you believe that he was once the highest paid actor in Hollywood, making $20 million a movie?
And then you look back at those movies of him and his highest paid, and you're like, really?
Well, then he just started taking up any B movie he could get after that. Like we're finding movies on Netflix that we've never heard of before.
Yeah.
Like I think he and Nick Nolte were in a night movie, sword battle night movies.
Him and Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte.
That's fantastic.
I could be wrong. I was drinking while I watched that movie, so I could be wrong.
You could be wrong.
I could be very
That doesn't sound like.
I'm drinking right now, so I definitely could be wrong.
Oh well, there you are.
He gets typecasted as Nick Cage.
Who said that?
Daryl.
Wait, we're supposed to be drinking?
I'm drinking. It's Sunday. Skylar's got champagne.
Well, she's pouring it on herself. She's not drinking it. Dang. This will never do. I gotta go.
Go get yourself some rum.
Jimmy Christmas.
Come around this way so you don't trip the cables.
I'm over here drinking fruit punch like a peasant.
Well, so am I, but mine has whiskey in it.
I'll be back. Drinking my. Where's my rum? It's rum o'clock.
So I know a number of you people have not seen this room in general. I'd be happy. You guys are on a major tripod right now, like a 6-foot tripod right now. So I can't really maneuver you around to show you much about the room. But if you have any questions about anything you might see, like I've got, oops, that's not the one we want to move. This is. I've got display cabinets over here. I've got display cabinets behind me here, stuff on the walls. So if anything ever piques your interest that you want to take a look at, let me know. Skylar says, pour rum on yourself.
That's a waste of rum.
That's a waste of rum. There you go. Well, Daryl's drinking cream soda. Well, he's just not having any fun at all, is he?
Daryl's the fun police.
Daryl, stop being the fun police, man. go pour champagne on your wife. All right. So I'm up to the Harrow County area of books now that I was telling you about, Skylar. And so this is the little girl who's kind of the protagonist of the series, and she's in the woods, as you can see, between these two trees, and there's these snakes. It's all about, and they're very creepy looking snakes. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the glare off of it. So it's just a whole hodgepodge of creepers. A lot of the stories based around what is in the woods themselves, because all of that is related to that witch that we spoke of before. And it lasted 31 issues, and I was really bummed to see it end. But since then, they have taken peripheral characters of that book and done a new Tales from Harrow County. And so this character is in the book as well. And here's a little gremlin. See that cute little guy? Is a friendly little guy hanging out with her. And so these are the sort of creatures that were like hanging out in the woods. But she is also a very spiritual person, kind of in a voodoo sort of way.
Will you put this on my thing for me? I want to see if Sirius wants to play.
Okay. So after you get through Harrow County, which I think is in 3 or 4 different trade paperbacks. I don't think there's a big omnibus out there yet, but 3 or 4 different trade paperbacks that you probably find for super cheap on eBay if you're looking. And then you can follow it up with Tales of Harrow County, which is the current series right now. So I don't even have a full review of that because, once again, comic distribution has been paused. So, but definitely something to look into. I'm looking at my bookshelf here for some creepy stuff. You know what? Hellboy is always. I don't know how you feel about Hellboy. I know some people are off-put about the character in general, but Hellboy tends to not be bloody at all, but very. The stories are based around real-life mythologies for the most part. Especially if you've seen that movie, it's based around, I think, the first graphic novel, like the first Ron Perlman movie, is based around the graphic novel. Those aren't really bloody. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of big gunfire and stuff like that, but not a lot of gore. So Hellboy is also very interesting as, I think, as a lesson in storytelling, taking modern mythologies and putting a spin on them so that they're not the exact thing that is based off of that urban legend or that mythology, but a whole brand new story. So I highly recommend Hellboy as well. Let's see here. You gotta absorb it through the skin. You can only get drunk by absorbing the alcohol through your skin, babe.
Oh,
There you go.
that makes sense.
So like, did they ever compile all the comics into? Okay, so there you go. I didn't care for the Hellboy movies, but don't know how close they follow the comics. You know, the Hellboy. That's the thing about the Hellboy mythology in general is that Hellboy's been around apparently in the world since World War II, and then since then, Hellboy died a couple years ago, like literally died, and is in hell. So they've been going back and developing these new stories called Hellboy and the BPRD from like 1953, 1956. You know, he has this whole timeline of life that we just haven't seen before. Oh, here's a guest appearance of a light absorbing little shadow.
Yeah.
Like you just got a whole bunch darker because he's like right here. He's absorbing all the light.
That's what he does. He's a little mad at me, so I'll have to get over it.
Well, so admittedly, Sirius is Gretchen's rabbit. Gretchen got Sirius, and you know, has, she takes care of him. But he bonded with me.
Yeah, he likes you way better.
He tolerates me way more. He'll come towards me. Meanwhile, he runs from Gretchen every chance that he basically gets.
Well, that's because I'm basically Elmira Duff.
So yeah, so you come at him like Sirius, and I just come at him with like a gentle hand. But he is the best rabbit in the world. I swear to God, that is the best rabbit in the world. I can't zoom in on right there, but he's just like a little tucked in, and he's content. The thing about rabbits is all four of their paws have to be on a solid surface at all times, or else they freak out. They have to have that stability of like almost being on the ground. So when you pick up a rabbit, hold it to your chest, or nuzzle it in your arm, you know, and they won't jump and scratch you and stuff like that. So when he gets on the chair there, he has to be nuzzled onto the pillow, someplace soft, someplace fairly firm.
Because he's a diva.
He is a diva. So I'm so restful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, do you guys ever do that? Do you guys like accidentally say an
old pet's name? So Sirius is an award-winning rabbit. He is best in he is best in show. He's a Velveteen, so he is best in show for his fur, and
he is beautiful.
And he will let you know that he is a king.
He is a king.
And you need to
Bow
you
down.
need to respect that rabbit.
He's the bun king.
He is the bun king. Let's see here. My niece Ari wants to know what's in the frames on the back corner.
Your niece? Our niece, Ari.
Ari.
Okay, I thought you were reading the comment that was my niece, Ari. I was
My
like, oh, I also have a niece named Ari.
Okay, so I
Hi, Ari.
have done. I've been through this. I've done this on stream before, so I apologize to anybody that is watching me talk about it again. But I love explaining these because I put so much effort into these back here. Okay.
So if you've already seen it, just hold tight.
Right. Just hold tight. So. One of the various things that I love collecting as a sub collection of comics is mini comics, small comics. Let me show you these. Like I have such a collection of undersized comics. Weird shaped comics. I have a large collection of those. And so one of the things from when I was a child, talking about He-Man like I was earlier,
Action figures.
the action figures, so the toys themselves were packaged. I have one high up on a shelf I can't grab right now. I would show you, but
they were packaged with
they were packaged with a little mini comic that described the character or the scenario that involved the character or something like that. And there was like 40 or 50 something comics that came with those He-Man comics.
Characters.
I mean, He-Man characters, yeah. And
there was one for every character they brought in the toy line.
And so these started in like 1982, 83, collecting them as kids You don't think anything about it. You unpackage the toy, you play with the toy. The comic's cool. You toss it away, whatever. So they become lost with time. So I realized, you know, it was one of those things that you forgot about when you were a kid until you grow up and be like, oh my God,
You came across one.
I totally remember these things. What happened to these? So you start looking them up, and then you challenge yourself to get the whole collection because that's the OCD part of me. The wife,
The completest.
the completest.
He's got to have them all.
I gotta have them all.
Thank God you're not a Pokemon.
Pokemon. So
This is all of them.
it took me 2 years, but I found every single book. And the challenging part of this is a couple of these came with like play sets that at the time were, ungodly priced. It's one of those things you could only get for
You
like
have as a child.
you could get for your birthday, or if a couple of your aunts and uncles chipped in for a Christmas present or something like
Right,
that.
or you have rich parents.
Yeah, exactly. So some of these were a real challenge to find, and that's them. And so they're on these posters, not the real posters that came with the toys, but I had scanned images, mock-ups of the real posters, and they are in these little kind of picture frame.
They're
photo corner holders. That's right. So there's no adhesive on the books themselves being stuck up there. They're stuck in these little photo corners on these just printed out copies of posters that could be destroyed, and it was okay. But I found every single one.
I have a complete She-Ra collection too. We just haven't framed it.
Gretchen has, so there are 3 series of She-Ra comics that were of the same concept. The little mini comics that came with the toys. Okay. Gretchen has a complete series 1 and 2 because series 3 consisted of 2 toys. Okay. And they were meant for the bath.
So they didn't come with comics.
They came with comics, but with kids are playing with stuff and reading their comics.
They're very hard to find.
I cannot find the fact that they even exist, except for He-Man.org has. Oh, and I have this book. I have this book, the complete mini comic collection. Look at that. That is all of those books, all of the She-Ra books, and then there was a follow-up series for the New Adventures of He-Man as well. Which
that way, if you want to read them all, you've got to read them.
Right. So it's the all of these little books in this collection here because I'm not going to take those down to read them. I mean, I found the best conditions of each ones that I could, and so I'm not going to mess with them. So I bought this complete collection, and so those 2 toys were meant for having fun in your bubble bath when you're a kid. Kids unpackage them, play with them in the toys. The comics probably get wet and just get destroyed. I can find the toys, and actually they're the rarest of the She-Ra toys. I can buy an incomplete, it was a She-Ra of some sort.
So unless you get one never removed from package, you're never going to get that kind.
That's the thing.
And if you get one never removed from package, you're not going to take it out of the package just to get the comics.
Right.
But you can say, I also have the other 2, but they're in their original package. And everybody you would say that to would go, oh, okay.
Yeah, that like they care.
They
But Gretchen has a complete series 1 and 2 of She-Ra. So
I love
at least
She-Ra.
that's something.
She-Ra was my jam. Like, I really love Gem and the Holograms as well, but I would say She-Ra was my top fave. I friggin' love Gem and the Holograms.
Skylar says,
She-Ra is
I love that rabbit, and he's not even mine to love. Oh,
he's so sweet.
He's everybody's to love.
He'll
take all the love.
He'll take all the love because he's a little tiny black void of love, and he needs all of it. He's sleeping right now, though. He's all snuggled up, looking all cute and stuff.
Oh man, Skylar, I wish I could show you and Daryl my Power Rangers collection over here. Let me try something.
We will have to do I guess you basically do a room tour every time.
This isn't even all of it, but this is a large collection of all my Power Ranger stuff, including the pop that you were there that I got signed by RJ Seiler while he was high AF.
Oh yeah.
I still haven't gotten rid of it because it's on eBay, but I'm selling it for literally $5 more than I got the autograph for, but nobody wants to buy it. But at some point in time, I'll have to show you guys my Power Rangers collection
In detail.
in detail. Yeah, and my Power Rangers Funko Pop collection is absurd.
Yeah, I stumbled across that one day, and I was like, "Wow, there's." I'm
Yeah,
just gonna close this door and walk away.
yeah, it's large.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Let's see here. Skylar says, those tiny comics are cool. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. Such a cool thing to get with your toy. Yeah. They don't really do that. Every once in a while, if you're looking, like Marvel Comics might do something like that with a toy.
I would love to have some old She-Ra toys, and I would like to have.
She goes,
Is my brother-in-law on there?
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
sure if he heard me say
he's
that,
in
it'll
there.
probably show up at my house one day. I
uh,
wououldn't be mad about it.
Skylar goes, oh wow, LOL. That's so much, talking about the Power Ranger stuff. She goes, that's so much. I remember that pop.
Yeah, that was
Because I was hanging out with them after I got assigned, I was like, he didn't
He
even like it.
deflated your day,
Yeah, he
I
really
remember.
kind of deflated meeting him. Because I purposely made an effort to go meet him. You remember that? And that Randy goes, do you think that the Masters of the Universe mini comics were your first experience with a comic book? I guarantee you they were. I didn't think about that, but I think you're absolutely right. I had to be every bit of. So I was probably 6 when I started collecting comics, which means you were 3. Yeah, I think you might be right. I didn't think about that. But also, I was completely unaware at the time. And that's why I didn't have any of them anymore. I had to go hunt down every single one of those.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool collection.
Oh, also the ones that I'm pointing
this
to
is a different comic.
right here, okay, that I'm pointing to, are a completely different set. The big frames are the Masters of the Universe. These over here are DC Comics Superpowers. And I have the complete series 1 and 2 separated by different frames. But those are the same concept that came with the toys, and I had to hunt those down as well. So,
Man, too bad we couldn't find a way to like put these on the ceiling.
on the ceiling.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like up on the ceiling, and then you can have like art up there too. So when people come in here, they have art all around them.
Interesting. I actually have prints
Because we have so much art to put on our walls, we're gonna have to find some more real estate.
yeah, I actually have art
I mean,
prints
it's a thing.
I have stuff that I don't know what to do with. So I don't know if you watched the recent unboxing that we did with this artist named Newell again, where I unpackaged a bunch of like subscription stuff that I have. But I have this Nightwing by him that I have yet to put up. I've had this for a very long time. There's another artist that I like to collect prints from when I'm at Comic Cons. His name is Elliot Fernandez. Let's see if it doesn't reflect well. Look at this Ninja Turtles and Bruce Lee. How sick is that? I love that print so much. And then he did the Trinity up there. And then we got the Batman's Rogue Gallery down here. But so I have a Thundercats print from him that I had a color print that I have yet to put up. That one's pretty cool. Then I got some stuff from like Kickstarter, stuff from Bambox that I have yet. Like I need to find space for this stuff.
I think we should kind of figure out how to mount them in frames.
And
I think it would look cool.
I was showing these off the other day, and I love these things so much. So a number of years ago, Gretchen and I were at a flea market in Wentzville, Missouri, and came across this lady who worked for the printing company for DC Comics.
Oh yeah.
And she had a box of these acetates that they use to make the comics. So here's the comic, all right, this flash comic, just by example. And then here's the color acetates, the color charts that they use the 4 color charts. And this comic, this acetate itself was literally used in making this comic. I have a couple of these. So I would like a way of displaying those as well. I actually have some from like a couple issues from Cable. Um,
That's hard. I think you should actually maybe have that just like framed by a professional framer who can lay it out and put it in archival quality.
like this issue of Cable, you can actually see on the color code up here, but it's kind of a little offset, so they're not quite lined up. But I have a couple of these, and I freaking love them.
They're really cool. And I think you got them all for like $20.
Yeah, well, yeah, the lady was selling them for
She's
like
like,
$10 a
I don't know.
pop. She's like, I just want to get rid of them. I think she had a bad experience with the company she was working for, and I don't know that I'm legally allowed to have them per se.
Sure.
But there they are, right?
He's breathing his little breaths on me. And it's like little hot breath puffs in my wrist.
Okay, so I've gotten through looks like 2/3 of this box in just an hour and a half. So I think I'm about on par with
There you go.
my typical schedule.
Who's all there? I want to say hi to everybody.
I can't tell you who's here. We know Rainey's here, Skylar's here, Daryl's here. I don't know who else is watching.
Kristen.
Kristen's watching. That's right. But we have 7.
It's all my favorite people.
It looks like we have 7 viewers right now.
Sweet.
So if you haven't said hi yet, say hi. Say hi in some manner. Also, like I had mentioned before, if you are interested, I can.
Our new video comes out tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So I got us some Japanese candy making kits that almost ruined our marriage. So
Tomorrow's video is
stay
going to be
tuned for
interesting.
that. It's
Tomorrow's.
probably the realest video we've ever done.
Yes, you will see the dynamic of our marriage for sure.
Nobody is around. This is very
If
much us.
you want to be a visual part of the stream, I'm putting a link in the chat right now,
I'm so sorry.
and
I
you just click that link, and you can be kind of part of the video, if you will.
I disrupted them because I had to move my hand.
No.
That was lumpy.
All right, so I think I got more He-Mans.
He-Man. I really liked Thundercats though too. Like I watched a lot of Thundercats.
Does anybody remember besides
Chitara was like my first girl crush.
besides my brother? I know. Does anybody remember Silverhawks?
Yes.
They were like almost fully metal body, like android people, but they were in space.
Right.
And then their lead character, I mean, it was a complete rip off of Thundercats, but just in space. Like
But they made, instead of cats, they made them birds.
they were birds.
Instead of on the planet they were on, they're going to put them in space.
Right. And instead of a mummy as their villain, they had Monstar,
Oh, goodness.
who was this guy who absorbed this, I think it was absorbed the power, like when the red star lined up with his jail cell, he became this spiky red like villain character. It was crazy. But that's another thing that people just don't remember is Silverhawks. And I remember that came on, it was He-Man, Thundercats, then Silverhawks all the time.
I always turn it off after Thundercats because Silverhawks.
What's going on, Brian? Brian Yo said hello.
Oh, hi, Brian.
But yeah, Silverhawks. I would like to see a modernized revamp of that. I think that actually has property value,
Okay.
especially with the nostalgia crew like myself.
Yeah,
Nostalgia weighs heavy in this household.
it's true. Well, we did live in like one of the golden eras of childhoods.
That's true.
Like 80s childhoods are usually revered with much love.
Oh, so I think Skylar might be interested in this comic series. It's called Helheim. Okay, I know that you love kind of the Viking sort of stuff. It's also written by the same guy who did Harrow County, Cullen Bunn. Okay, now this is set back in the days of Vikings, where the Viking lord of his tribe, I guess you could say, his son died, and he went to the local witches and brought his son back. Now the thing about his son is he's a zombie, but he can take body parts from other stronger people, and by the end of the series he's got wings and he's got wielding battle axes, and
Oh
he's
my
just a
gosh.
complete badass, right? And then it's followed up by the Brides of Helheim, which is basically the witches who helped bring him back to life as well. This is not a common find. You might be able to find it. Like there he is. There he is with wings right there. Look at that. It's not a common find now. You might have to do a little bit of hunting, but it's not super. And it flew under a lot of people's radars. But I think you might actually dig that.
I finally broke into my comics.
Yeah, Gretchen's got a solid long box full of Harley Quinn and some Birds of Prey, some Catwoman that
Batgirl.
she's neglected for the longest time because she's so busy on a regular basis that she doesn't have time to sit down and read comics.
No, if I sit down and start like reading, I will just fall asleep because I just don't know. But now I got all the time in the world, even though I am still working, but I have every evening. So I've made myself pick a series to start with. So I'm actually starting with the Black Canary series that you bought me like 13 years ago or whatever.
2015. 2015. It was only like 5 years ago.
Oh, a million years ago. Yeah. And so I started with that one because it's a 12 issue. So I figured I could give at least 12 days.
So give me a synopsis. So last time, this 2015 series. Randy said, as a toy collector, he says that these Silverhawk toys are now very expensive to collect.
Oh, I bet they are.
So this Black Canary series is fairly modernized in the past 5 years. She's the lead singer of like a punk rock band.
She's like the lead singer of like the Misfits meets like Danzig meets like.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, the Misfits meets like the Ramones. Like okay, that's what I meant.
Okay.
It's kind of that.
Gotcha.
So like the lead singer is Dee Dee, which is Dinah Lance, and she is getting more known for getting into fights every night, and she's basically like an MMA fighter, right? So she's just beating the crap out of everybody, beating them bloody, whatever. So they're like, you have got to stop fighting.
Her bandmates
are like, we can't be anything without you. Well, it turns out that Dinah was not the original singer of the band, and the original singer of the band isn't very happy, so she's trying to like get her place back or another band. Then their guitarist is like this 8-year-old kid, but he speaks like a very like wise adult, and there's these like paranormal ghouly things coming after him for some reason. So we're trying to figure out where this kid's coming from. It turns out that like they're allowed to start fighting again, let her start fighting again, because she's the only one that can protect them from those evil paranormal ghoulies that are trying to take, that for some reason are trying to take the 9-year-old with a very mature attitude and speech away.
Okay.
So that's basically the synopsis.
I got you.
That's a spoiler-free
That's
guide.
spoiler-free.
That's spoiler-free.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't give any spoilers away. That's basically.
So there's like some cool twists in here.
So there's some cool twists. There's a little bit of paranormal. There's a little bit of like super action. There's a lot of hot babes in punk outfits because it's like mostly run by girls. And
Okay.
yeah, who doesn't like a hot babe in a punk outfit?
So good news. We've moved on to the H's.
H-box does not sound nearly as entertaining as G-box.
I almost put this away,
But you did.
but I didn't. Hawkman. So, okay. I don't know why I bought this $1.50, but this comic is it's got a 12-cent. It's got a 12-cent cover. Like, this book has to be from like the 50s. For $1.50, I mean, I could, in this condition, I could probably turn around and sell it for like $15. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's cool.
But nobody's really looking to buy Hawkman issues from excuse me,
Sorry, I got the bunny.
from the 50s or 60s.
If we sneeze or scratch our face a lot, it's just because Sirius is still kind of shedding a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but he wants to be part of this. He wants to hang out and live
He's
chat
here
with
for
you
it.
guys. He's here for it.
So after Harrow County comes Hawkman. Actually, it's Haunted Mansion.
Whoa.
I only have 2 issues. So Gretchen has a couple issues, has all 5 issues of the Haunted Mansion series graded hanging up in her kitchen.
I do. It's the action figure covers.
Yes.
Yes, but they had 2 covers for each.
They had a couple different ones, yeah.
So we collected the whole series of that cover, but you have a couple issues of ones that I have obtained.
Yeah.
Other covers.
Just randomly.
Somehow we just ended up getting them.
You know, I bet you if you were to go through this
Might have been in a lot on eBay.
Exactly, this comic collection in general, you're going to find, quite a few doubles here and there. Oh boy, the PPRD.
That sounds like the worst boy band ever. Everybody come out now for help on the PPRD!
Awesome, good job.
You're welcome. That's for free. The next one will cost you $5.
So, Randy, as we were talking about earlier about He-Man, there's a new series out right now called He-Man in the Multiverse, and it's literally the Dolph Lundgren He-Man along with like a couple of various He-Mans going around through the various universes or aspects of He-Man. So you like just recently they went to the original 1980s animated series version. They went to the early 2000s reboot that they tried to do. But it's a fun comic. Oh, I guess we are done in this one now.
So the fun thing I like to do to Tim is whenever I finish my comic books, they don't stay in my long box. No.
I got to go through and organize them back into my.
He's got to put them in his because this is the family collection. This is my nieces and nephews' inheritance. So
Right. Yeah.
So it must stay organized.
When I die, my nieces and nephews are going to have to go through and sell all of this stuff. Brian Yost says, what would you recommend as far as TMNT comics go? Should I start from the beginning? Any of them hard to get? If you start from the beginning, expect to spend a few $1,000s. I would, especially if you're like trying to collect the series. A buddy of mine, another YouTuber, just literally sold most of his comics to get the first issue. And you find various prints, but they're all still going to be like first, second, third print of the first issue, stuff like that. But you got to keep in mind it's the first issue of literally everybody that mattered in that comic. The Shredder, all the Turtles, Splinter, like everybody that mattered.
Main players.
Yeah. So a couple $1,000 at least for the first issue alone. But I would suggest trade paperbacks because I think those are still in print as well.
If you want just to get the story.
If you're just wanting to get the story, trade paperbacks is the way to go. As a comic collector,
if you want like an investment piece,
you're looking to spend some serious money, yes. Because you're talking 1984, 1981, 1982.
It was a really limited run.
Yeah.
It was like underground.
Yeah, there was an underground print of like 1,800 comics for a first print. And that's super low considering, this was probably 80,000 prints. And that's low by today's standards. Typical He-Man comic sells 100,000 prints, something like that. 1,800 prints of a comic like that, the rarity is just astronomical. Let's take a look at something. Let's take a look. Now, the one that my buddy bought was a CGC comic. And let's do something here real quick. You guys hang on for this. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Let's go to Ninja Turtles. Hold on. I'll show you guys what's on my screen here. Sorry. course, it's going to freeze on me, right? Right when I'm trying to get something done, it's gonna freeze on me like
That's
that.
why you can't get stuff done.
I know.
Your laptop.
And so now I'm stuck on the side waiting for my computer to actually do something. Eventually it'll pop up, I'm sure. Come on. You think you can get a low grade Raphael comic #1 for around $100? Casey Jones' first appearance. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was also another thing is that they had these like mini comics, or like they called them micro series, not mini comics, but like micro series. It was like a limited series at the time. Yeah, I hope this doesn't crash on me. It's giving me the not responding sort of look to it. So let's see.
This is why we can't.
I know this is why we can't have nice things. Let's wait this out a second and see what it does.
Oh, baby. After Corona, we can start shopping for a new computer.
My laptop is complete crap. This is what I do all my video editing on and stuff like that, and that's why we can only really put out one video a week because this.
It's a challenging little guy.
Indeed, it is.
There's birds eating in our yard. Went out and weeded the yard today, like a couple yuppies.
Will you check the Let's see here. I can check the chat here. There we go. Let's see here. I don't necessarily want first runs. I don't mind reprints. Just want to get invested in the storyline. Okay. Yeah, just I would go with the trade paperbacks then. That's the way it should be done. Come on, this is bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is happening right now.
That's a bummer.
I wonder if I close the window, will it still? I don't think it'll still carry on the screen.
Gotcha.
But I can't maneuver anything either. We'll give it a minute, let it work out its kinks. I apologize for this little tiny screen that I'm on the side of over here. Okay, I'm gonna continue on here. So I just boxed. I'm done with this box. No, wait. This is the new box I just brought down, right? Yes. Yes, it is. This is the new box.
The new box.
We'll see what happens if I just minimize that and see what happens. Dang it.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, I can still check the chat from my phone, so if you guys respond with anything, I am here for it. Hopefully it'll get its stuff together here pretty soon.
Get your life together.
Yeah, for some reason my CPU is just maxing out. If this happens for too long, I'll try to restart it. I don't know if it'll end the stream or not, but we'll see. I don't want to leave you guys hanging with this big black screen with me just like off the side over here. If anything, I think I'm going to be back streaming. I think I'll try. for Wednesday night. I have Wednesday nights open now. I usually do gaming on Wednesday nights, but my buddy that I do gaming with is switching to Tuesdays. So I might come out here and hang out on a Tuesday night, maybe a little bit later after dinner, maybe 8ish, and just kind of hang out. I know some people have kids that they got to put to bed and stuff like that. So let's see here. We have.
Well, you do it at different times. You bounce around. So
Do I own the original TMNTs? No, I do not.
Yet.
Not. I don't think that'll be a thing. That is a heavy investment that I'm not
Wanting to do.
willing to really throw money into right now. Like I love the Ninja Turtles. It's obviously a huge part of my childhood, but it's not what I'm focusing on really putting my money into a collection on right now.
That's a very diplomatic answer.
Yeah. No, I mean, who doesn't love Ninja Turtles? You know what I'm saying? For those of you who are interested, this weekend when I'm doing the Mainframe Comic Con, I'm going to have some new neon style Ninja Turtle prints available on the Etsy store.
Very cool.
I'm working on these 10 by 10 prints that are very new. So just something kind of exclusive for the con itself. So, what's your most prized, expensive comic? Let me point it out to you right here.
Priced and expensive aren't always the same.
Correct. Here's my most expensive. I don't know, baby. Do you think you could point out what my most prized is?
What your most prized is?
Yeah.
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
So, as far as value within my series goes, it's my Iron Man #1 signed by Stan Lee. I found this book literally in a back issue bin
In a quarter bin.
for 25 cents. And then I met Stan Lee about 5 years ago. This was signed, 8 years
A
ago.
long time ago.
8 years ago now. It was signed on August 10th, 2012 by
Chicago, Illinois.
by Stan Lee himself.
When he was still at his wits about him.
Yep. Came out at 7.0. I can't, you can't beat that for finding that in a back issue bin being neglected, right?
For a quarter.
For a quarter. Yeah. And the cover price itself is 12 cents. So I think that's why I got stuck in the quarter bin. But yeah. Most prized. Man, I don't. Maybe that is the most prized.
It's got a lot of memories attached to it. It's got a lot of sentimental value on it too.
Yeah.
That was our first real vacation.
Yeah.
Was the trip to Chicago. Real vacation after we moved down here.
What an insane find. Yeah. So also my brother was there because not there, but my brother was notified on the day when I found a New Mutants 98 for $4. I literally texted him a picture of what I just found. It's the first appearance of Deadpool. That's like a $300 comic. I found it for $4 with this guy. Didn't know what he had. Just started up a new retail shop at the Dirt Mall, is what we call it. And yeah, that's what happened. Okay. All right. Well, just to give you a heads up, the stream might end because I'm just going to restart this whole screen instead of being a little block on the side. Let's see what happens. Okay.
If it ends, we love you. Goodbye.
Yeah. If it ends, I'm sorry. We love you guys. I will be streaming later this week. I will notify people, and I'll try to do it later in the evening because I know a lot of you guys have kids, stuff like that, and I'd still like to hang out and chat with you as well. Brian says we were supposed to meet Stan Lee at the St. Louis Comic Con a few years ago, but he canceled because he was sick and died shortly after. There's a whole thing going on, that whole era of Stan Lee's life that is super sad because people were taking advantage of him. Look it up online.
Yeah, it's a sad story.
It's a sad story, but he rebounded and got things back together before he eventually passed away. But I'm closing this program now, so if it crashes and I leave, I'm sorry. I will be back Wednesday night, probably around 8 o'clock. Okay, you guys. So hang tight. If I disappear, I'll see you guys then. Okay. Let's see here. It says still live. Let's see here. Am I still hanging out with you guys? It still says it's live. I don't know if it's just because I'm in the back room here.
Or if it's a delay. We'll find out in a second.
I'm about to enter the broadcast studio. We'll see what's happening. Let's see here.
Just nuzzled in
Just going in here. Am I still here? Am I still here? Do you guys still see me?
there. I see you on the thing.
You guys respond to me so that I know if you still see me or not. I was going to try and look up the value of TMNT number 1 at the time, and it just completely screwed everything up. So let me know if I am still amongst your lives. There we go. There we go. Wow. Well, at least I know that if it crashes, I can still go back into it.
Good to know.
Good to know.
Yeah, I think after the Rona, we need to start shopping for a new laptop.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys know, you're big again. Yes, I was able to like clear out all the little glitchy stuff on the host thing. So here's the thing with my laptop is that its webcam is complete crap. It doesn't even actually have a mic. So I have to host on my desktop or my laptop, invite myself in through my phone so that I can broadcast that way.
Yeah, but when we bought that, your previous laptop had crashed, and we could only spare like an extra like $400 to buy it.
Yeah,
So at
right.
the time, that's the extra cash we had. So.
Exactly.
Oh,
I was worried for a little bit there.
all right, we're all good.
Okay, good.
Sirius
We're
is good.
We'll still hang out for a little bit, but we'll probably have to tie it up soon. Gretchen and I are going to have dinner, and then we're doing a Netflix party thing with some friends of ours later on. So we just kind of want to be prepared for that. Anyway, let me get back to the comics themselves. I'm not going to try and share my screen again right now because that was a freaking nightmare, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's just.
Yeah.
He's shaking his head.
Oh.
He's saying no. I think you're gonna.
Yeah, he's probably got to go potty. That's the thing. So our rabbit is potty trained. For those of you who don't know, you can potty train your rabbit. He is litter box trained.
Say hi.
No, the bright light. He doesn't like that.
Sorry.
Yeah. You can litter box train a rabbit. He's trained, so he'll let you know when he's got to go. Let's see here. So you were telling me that Bill and Ted number 1 I sent you isn't your most prized comic. No, I do love that comic though. I love the Bill and Ted comics. It's funny. But I think for the sheer fact that Stanley comic that I can never meet Stanley again to get it signed or anything else to get signed by Stan Lee. That is the final, stage that comic is going to go through ever. It's forever going to be hermetically sealed in that capsulated containment with Stan Lee's autograph on it. I think that has a justifiable right of being my most prized comic. Let's see here. Where was I? Okay. New G box. I'm going to have to. Oh no, this was it. This was the end of that box. I was done with that box. Now I get to move on to this bottom shelf. I'm slowly making my way down. And actually, the bottom 2 boxes right here are full of randomness that also need to be filed as well. So one box is full of a bunch of Alex Ross comics that when I was a young collector of comics, I took all of his stuff that I was collecting and just put it in a solitary box because I loved his art so much. I just wanted it in its own box. But now I'm at the point where it just needs to go back. So eventually, we're going to go through all of this again to put that stuff away. And then the far box at the end there was a bunch of stuff that when Gretchen and I were doing cons, I was selling for like $1 a piece. It was like a bunch of overstock. It was like Street Sharks. Do you remember that comic? Just a bunch of double issues that I didn't really care about. Now I have come back to bite myself in the ass because there's a specific couple comics that I sold for $1 that have blown up astronomically in collectability and value. One of those is Young Avengers #1, which I thought was a stupid concept back in the day. I ended up with a copy of it somehow. I sold it for $1. It's now like a $60 comic. I wish I had not gotten rid of that one. There's everybody's got these stories of woulda, shoulda, coulda, when it comes to their various collections of things that they have, and that's one of my current ones that I have come to realize. Now I have a box behind the futon over there that's full of what we consider key issues and stuff that I want to get graded. And I'll eventually go through that box one by one as well. A lot of stuff is signed that I've got signed from Comic Cons that I personally got signed that I just want to have graded and stuff like that.
Is this a Chip and Dale's Hot Wheel?
Yeah.
This is adorable.
This is a Chip and Dale's Hot Wheel that I bought not that long ago. For those of you who don't know or haven't picked up, I absolutely adore and love Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers specifically, but Chip and Dale in general. I just love them.
That's so stinking cute.
So there's a whole series of 8 cars based off of Disney characters. I think that's 8 of 8. I think that's what it says up there in the corner.
Yep.
But I had to have the Chip and Dale one for sure.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Sirius is grooming himself. He's better.
Gotcha. All right. So now this box goes up, and I get to move down a shelf.
Another one bites dust. That's it. You only get so long. My niece Ari just texted me and said, "I'm making you guys fan mail."
Oh my
My
God!
niece is
Our
nothing
first
but the
fan
cutest-
mail, that would be incredible.
Cutest kids ever. I love them.
All right, so I honestly, I spend so much time in these boxes up here. I don't know what I have in any of these boxes. Sounds like a roller coaster.
Man, you remember riding roller coasters?
Remember when that was the
Remember when
thing?
that was a thing?
All right, so we got the starting with the eyes.
The first roller coaster we're gonna ride when we get back to Disney is the Rocket roller coaster.
So do you guys remember Gem and the Holograms?
Of course they remember.
They had actually a really good comic, a
It
really
is
modernized comic.
It is good, yeah.
A really modernized comic. They had a lot of diversity as opposed.
Stormer's LGBTQ.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Side note. I still have. Okay. Randy's upset that the Bill and Ted #1 that he sent me from like the 80s isn't my most prized comic book that he.
That's my most prized comic. Because hello, did you not see me just lose my mind over this picture
right?
frame?
This
is my first real crush. Him and Jeff Goldblum. Keanu Reeves and Jeff Goldblum were my young crushes.
So
That's why I'm so young, because I still crush on the boys I crushed on when I was a kid.
Back in November when I went to Ranger Stop here up in Orlando, the woman who does the voice of Gem, Samantha Newark.
Yes.
I got her to do a video for Gretchen introducing the light up star earrings. She got the star earrings that light up, and so that was
so
if you go back and watch the Ranger Stop video at the tail end of that, showed Gretchen the video on TV and videotape recorded her response to that message, and now she's friends with Samantha Newark on Instagram. So
yes,
she tagged you in things.
Yeah, she's sweet.
She's super sweet woman. She's out there in California with some other friends of ours.
With some other friends of ours, yeah. It was like a friend of a friend of a friend situation.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We have made, since we started this YouTube thing, we have made the absolute best
We've
friends.
made some really cool friends
Like,
by
I have
doing this
never
stuff.
just loved a bigger group of people in my life. Like,
Right.
everybody, all of our internet friends are just amazing. I hope to meet all of them in person one day.
Any plans on visiting STL after the Rona? No.
There was plans.
There
on
was
visiting
plans this
STL.
summer, but you know, things happened, and I don't work right now, so you know, things are
We
just.
have to figure out what's going to happen after the Rona.
We have to figure out a situation right now. So.
If life goes back to the way it was, then
Yeah. Yeah. If I get called back to work or you know something like that, we can definitely make it happen. But you know, it's a situation where everybody is being put out essentially.
Everybody's being affected.
Everybody's being affected. You know, and that's why I'm not complaining about it online because
Everybody's being affected.
I'm one of like millions of people who are being affected by it. Like it's not going to do me any good to go out there and throw a pity party.
Yeah.
When you got millions of other people out there, probably in a way tougher situation than I'm in right now, you know. So
we got no major complaints.
we got no major complaints. You know, I have a lot in my own house to occupy myself with, and
I'm still working, so we're not confined with each other constantly.
Yeah, Gretchen's still working. She's still considered essential. You know, baked goods are considered a food. Make anybody who makes
we
food.
Make quiche. Yeah, we make
Yeah.
quiche. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we make food, so we get to stay open. We provide food for restaurants and stuff. So
Yeah.
It'd be all right.
It'd be all right. It'd be all right.
But we'll come to St. Louis as soon as we can.
Yeah, that's for sure. I got a lot of family and friends that I need to go back and visit up in the STL, up in the Louvre.
I could use an Emo's Pizza, Ted Drew's, Crown Candy Kitchen.
Did I hear Ted Drew's closed?
They did close because of Corona.
Oh, I thought they like closed.
Well, that who knows what's going to happen? Like, I'm sure they will open back up, but a lot of the small businesses won't open back up. But Ted Drew's is like a big small business.
Okay. So back in the 1990s, Disney was doing a big thing of getting into comic books, a bunch of number ones. Like I have this sealed edition of a bunch of sealed edition of a bunch of Disney comic books from 1990. This is Donald Duck Adventures, DuckTales, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, Roger Rabbit, Mickey Mouse Adventures, and Goofy Adventures, all number one issues. I just came across this number one issue. Randy, I guess this counts as my movie adaptations that I've been collecting. Jungle Book.
Why didn't we know you had this when we had Blue? You could meet him at the Disney.
So I haven't really advertised it, but this is pre my idea.
I know.
But I've been I've been going to Disney and getting pictures with them, with the characters of them reading comics of themselves. So that's been like an long.
So we've got Gaston reading a Beauty and the Beast book.
Beast reading the book. I just got Belle, so I got Gaston, Beast, and Belle from Beauty and the Beast to read the book. I got Darth Vader to look at a comic book. I got Kylo to acknowledge a comic book.
Yes.
Chewie loved the comic book. Chip 'n Dale. I took their first comic, not their first appearance. Jack and Sally were into it as well. From Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, I said that. Donald Duck, Scrooge McDuck.
Launchpad McQuack.
Did I do Daisy Duck?
You did Daisy.
I did Daisy Duck. Pluto.
Mickey
and Minnie were into it. That's been back when Mickey talked, and he was like, "Wow!"
No, that was the Safari Mickey and Minnie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. Snow. I didn't do Snow White, did I?
You did.
I've done a couple.
You have Jasmine, but we haven't got to that one yet.
I have an Aladdin comic that I need Jasmine and Aladdin and Jafar to actually look at. You can meet Jafar. A couple people. I can't quite remember, but yeah, I've got Launchpad McQuack. Did Launchpad? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a number of them where I've got pictures of them reading the comics of themselves. BB-8. I did BB-8. You remember that?
Yeah.
I did BB-8, and that. So yeah, that's what I've been. That's been my project at Disney when it
So
becomes
we're gonna
available.
print them all out and put them in frames, and it'll be a collage. On
Yeah, the hard. Believe it or not, the hard ones are the princesses.
Because you don't get a lot. Well, we don't wait in the princess line.
We don't. I don't obviously don't wait to meet the princesses, but to find a Cinderella comic is actually kind of complicated.
Yeah.
But back in the day, Gold Key and Walt Disney Presents such and such characters was a common thing, and you could probably find a Cinderella comic. I know I can get a Snow White. Ariel. We did Ariel.
We did do Ariel. Because we found a Little Mermaid.
Yeah, found a Little Mermaid book. But yeah, that's been
and
my
we've
ongoing.
Done it with them in different costumes too. So like we've done the Circus Donald, we've done the Dino World.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we have it with them in different. Like we have it with Chip and Dale in many different incarnations.
Yeah.
So like it's a fun little photo collection. We always post the pictures. We just have never assembled them.
So that's a funny thing. So the launch pad, I think he signed. It was a DuckTales comic with him on it. I think he signed that. I think that's the only character I had. Oh, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. We did that.
Yep.
That's the only character Launchpad I think who actually signed one. But any other time, especially when I did Chippendale, and I had their first #1 issue from like the 1960s, and they're like, "Oh, do they want this autograph?" I'm like, and Gretchen's like, "You need to wash your face," because I was like, "No, like, no, don't touch it." You know?
I really don't want you to hold it, but I've let that go.
Yeah. But to get Blue, you used to be able to get a picture with Blue and Louie, and they took that away from the Animal Kingdom. So I think
that would have been cool.
I think they just pop out at rare
so
occasions
yes,
now.
if you're wondering, we do carry comic books with us
I
in
do.
our backpack at Disney World. If we go to the park, we know what characters are in that park.
I actually carry it in like a cardboard container like this.
Bring it to us. We'll put it in our bag at Disney World.
And every time I have to go through security, they always pull it out and they go, "What is this?" And I say, "It's comic books." And I look around and everyone's like, "Why the hell is this guy bringing comic
and people
books?"
bring all kinds of random shit to Disney World. Who cares? We have seen people bring legit picnic lunches with like the wicker basket and the gingham towel, and they lay it out at the little grassy knolls in front of the castle, and have like a photogenic, like bougie Dapper Day picnic at Disney World. We've seen people bring that to Disney.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, people bring all kinds of stuff. So he's probably just like running through the gambit of things that are not allowed. And he's like, "Nope, that's fine."
Yeah. But I don't know if this is the whole. I gotta look through this. I don't know if this is the whole Jungle Book comic.
Jungle Book is one of my absolute favorite Disney movies. I love the music. I think it's the music I love the most about it. But I love Baloo, and my favorite exotic animal is a bear.
I don't think that this is. Oh, it is. It's a full adaptation to the end. So this one comic is the full movie. So I can add that. See that Batman comic there, babe?
Yeah.
Why don't you put this with that? I have. Here, actually, hand me that Batman comic.
Well, now I gotta get up.
You just gotta scoot. Just scoot a little bit. So I know I was talking with my brother the other day that I've been grabbing up movie adaptations of books, and I had Batman Returns the other day, but I have this Batman, the original Batman, that is in just great condition. These old binded thick books hold up so fantastic. This was high priced in 1989. This was $2.50. I had to buy this for $6. So I guess that's considered inflation, right?
You're right. I remember when that movie came out.
Heck
My
yeah.
Uncle Dean, Lord rest his soul, took me to that movie.
So 89, the
I saw it in
resurgence.
theaters.
Michael Keaton is actually what got me into Batman in general, and it's because of that Michael Keaton movie that I love the Batman 1960s TV show so much.
Yeah.
Because when Batman came out with Keaton in '89, they're like, "Hey, let's syndicate the old '60s show that I had never even heard of at 9 years old. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
Right.
But it was so cheesy and awful, but amazing at the same time. that I've grown a strong affinity for it since then.
I like Batman. Batman's better than Superman.
I agree. Batman has more
Batman has
more
better
depth.
villains.
He has more depth.
He has more depth. I think he has a very like it's just a more dynamic character.
Yes.
You know. Whereas Superman is a Boy Scout and nobody likes Boy Scouts.
Right? I feel
Not
that.
to say that nobody likes the Boy Scouts, because I'm sure there's a lot of people I know are Boy Scouts.
What up, Alex?
Alex!
He likes the 89 Batman movie. We actually just watched Batman Returns last night. That was 1992?
Yeah.
1991? No, it was like 2 years or 3 years
Okay.
after.
I don't know.
So, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, the 89 Keaton Batman movie is, I think,
He was our Batman.
within our generation, he is our Batman. He is who we call Batman. So.
But I like them all. Like, I can't say, because I really like Christian Bale's Batman, too.
So it's going to get to the point where I take out so much of the box that I'm literally emptying a box to fill it with a new box. Like, look at all that down there. That's like...
it's like you could almost just switch the labels.
Exactly. Exactly. So I know that most people weren't paying attention as to how much I took out of the last box. But I took out a solid third that I'm about to put back in here. It was all those He-Man comics. Oh. I have so many He-Man comics. So back in the 80s, the first maxi series of He-Man comics was like 13 issues. And it had two endings. One was if He-Man died, and one was if Skeletor died. Mm-hmm. And those are the hardest to find issues. Those are the only two of that first series that I don't have, because they go for like $60 a pop.
Right.
Because it's listed as it's the first death of each of those characters.
Right.
And those, for some reason, when it comes to collecting, the death of a character is very celebrated. None more than Jason Todd.
Say, yeah. Well, Captain America's death was really celebrated. Oh, that's Marvel.
Yeah, but same concept.
Yeah.
Same concept, though. Yeah.
Like, comic book shops were doing, like, funerals and had, like, caskets and shit lined up. Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. Superman, they literally held a live funeral on TV for Superman. Same thing with Captain America, though. I think they celebrated a live funeral for Captain America, too.
That's crazy.
And turned out to be a complete hoax and fake, just like any other major death.
And then there was the marriage of Batman and Catwoman. That was the last big one.
So people hate this writer Tom King now because for the longest time they built up to
the marriage of Batwoman,
completely anticlimactic situation of Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne are getting married. It is a big thing.
They're actually gonna
do it. And then Selena left Bruce at the altar. And that was like...
Spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, it was like 3 years ago, so get over it.
Yeah, they just got left at the altar.
But yeah. And so our friends who like own a comic book shop, they like made these veils. They were like cat ears, or these headbands that had cat ears, and were like putting veils on them. It was a whole big celebratory thing.
Set. Yeah, they were so cute.
It was a big celebratory thing.
Little wedding favors that had like little candies,
yeah,
boxes, bows and crap on it.
Oh,
like,
hey, Comics Club right here.
They're talking about you.
They're talking about you guys when Dolly made the veils for Batman and Catwoman's weddings, the headbands and everything like that. And even
we're talking about big hype buildups that turn into disappointments.
Right, and then the anticlimactic ending of Selena Kyle just not basically showing up at all. I guess retailers had no idea, or else the Comics Club wouldn't have gone through making a big deal about making the veils and stuff like that.
Everybody made
nobody knew.
Deal
He goes, Dolly still has scars maybe. She went all. She really did go all out.
I love it. I still have my little cat ears.
Yeah, you still have the cat ears, but the anticlimactic situations that That really put us.
That was the last one that we had. Before that, it was Captain America, right?
Right. So yeah, the death of Captain America ended up not being real, and obviously, that was the time for the Winter Soldier to shine. But then I think that was just a ploy to make the Winter Soldier a character, like a main thing.
Stop trying to make such a thing.
Gretchen.
It's not gonna happen.
Gretchen.
Jeez Louise.
All right. Okay. So where am I? I'm still in He-Man. I'm still in the He-Man comics.
He-Man.
He-Man. So many He-Man comics.
Well, I'm making some dip. I'm gonna go make some dip in a little bit, so it can the flavors can marry and stuff.
Right. Yeah, we'll end the stream here pretty soon. I almost don't want to start this box, but I want to finish this box before I'm done. You know what I'm saying?
Finish the box.
So let's see here. We've got Justice League Kick-Ass, Labyrinth. You never read these Labyrinth comics. I think you
No,
would like
I
them.
think that's part of the collection that you acquired for me, and then you gave up and packed them away.
Right. Here's the Little Mermaid comic that I got a picture with the Little Mermaid herself.
Ariel is the worst of the princesses.
She's also creepily the most accessible. Like, she got groped.
Yeah, that poor girl.
The poor girl was traumatized who was playing Ariel at the Magic Kingdom. Like, she is literally right there next to the people.
Somebody touched her.
Yeah, somebody touched her inappropriately because of but I can only imagine what these people, like, especially the female characters. That's a huge problem with the cosplay community nowadays, too.
Well, I don't, yeah, that's just, people, keep your hands to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Cosplay is not consent, by the way.
Keep your hands to yourself unless you've been invited.
All right, so He-Man of the Multiverse is where we're at. He-Man, I guess it would go after He-Man and Thundercats, because that was like basically the next series.
Thundercats! Oh! We need to get a Lion-O sword, like a legit Lion-O sword. That's what this room is missing. It's definitely missing a Lion-O sword.
So what do you guys, are you familiar with Hit Girl? Like in the Mark Miller universe, a lot of people probably are familiar with the character from the Kick-Ass movie, if anything. I like the fact that they're trying to breathe life into the character. So when this new series came out, Mark Miller had his name attached to the top because it's his character. He wrote the character. But then he entered an agreement with Netflix.
Right.
Netflix bought up a bunch of his properties. And now if the property that Netflix bought, if Netflix didn't buy the property, Mark Miller, even though he created the character, is not allowed to attach his name to the non-Netflix characters anymore.
That's crazy.
And Hit Girl was one of his biggest titles, I feel. Kick-Ass and Hit Girl, I think, is what really kind of put Mark Miller's name on people's charts. And now he's not even allowed to associate with them due to contract with Netflix.
That's crazy.
Talk about just shooting yourself in the foot.
That's why when you make decisions like that, you have to just really think about and consider all different possible outcomes.
I suppose so. Let's see here. Comics Club says we've been going through our back issues too. Hit Girl is awesome. Yeah. Hit Girl is, especially the storyline of her traveling the world, going. What was the first one? Was it? The first one was just a regular series. Then she went to Canada, and then she went to Rome, and then she went to Hollywood, and after that she went to Hong Kong, India.
She just went on a little tour.
She went on a round trip tour around the world,
kick-ass tour around
killing
the world.
killing the heads of major crime organizations, which is she's following through with Big Daddy's plan.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an interesting series.
And Nicolas Cage.
Another one. There's another one. Daryl, if you're still here watching, Nicolas Cage is Big Daddy in Kick-Ass. It's another one of those like, well, how was Big Daddy portrayed in the Kick-Ass movie?
It was Nicolas Cage.
Like, it was what you expect. but it worked. When he's like being set on fire. It's I mean, it's
I laughed so hard at the worst, most
self-explanation.
inappropriate times.
Yes. Comics Club says, but he went into the agreement with Mark Miller went into the agreement with eyes open, and my guess is he goes big bucks for his comic book universe. Yeah, so he sold Millerverse basically to a contractual agreement with Netflix, which has Magic Order and Nemesis and a bunch of other really amazing titles, and I guarantee you he got paid. He got paid big.
Sure.
So he's probably willing. You're probably right. He's probably willing to cast a blind eye to some of his key properties in order to make big bucks elsewhere. And I am willing to bet that his agreement with Netflix is limited to a certain number of years or seasons or whatever it is. You know. But I hope he doesn't get burned like Rob Liefeld. Rob Liefeld is now creating a new series that looks so much like Youngblood, okay? Because he sold the rights to Youngblood to somebody who sold them to somebody else, and now that person is going to be producing Youngblood comics without Liefeld's permission. And so Liefeld is like, hey, the Youngblood property is dead to me, but look at this new thing I've created, and it's Liefeld, so it looks like anything else he's ever created ever. Right. But it's because he got burned on it, you know. So I hope Miller is deep in that contract with his name on everything, because when it comes from creator aspects to publication to production, that's a completely different line of contractual agreements. Like, yeah, you're the creator, and that's great. You can have your name on all the stuff, but you might get 5% of whatever we make off of this property that we are making millions of dollars on. Right.
You're getting pennies on the dollar.
You're getting pennies on the dollar. Right.
Well, that's what he sold his name for.
Brandy wants to know, what is Gretchen's least favorite comic book character? It said colonic book character.
My least favorite comic book character.
Miller got $31 million from Netflix.
Good. So he's not hurting in this coronavirus.
Yeah. So what's your least favorite comic book character? Like, he asked me that the other day, and I was like, I don't know. There's like so many characters that I just don't care about.
I would say that characters I don't care about don't make them my least favorite. I think that my least favorite is the ones that make me go, oh, fuck that guy. Okay?
Yeah.
So that being said, I usually get really annoyed with Superman.
Okay.
I can't stand Superman.
I like his movies.
I mean, I think that Henry Cavill is absolutely the most delicious eye candy, and I will snack him down. But I don't care about Superman. You know, like he is just such a Boy Scout. Do-gooder.
You know, and I've still been thinking about it. Who's my least favorite comic book character? So to say least favorite would mean that he would have to be on a chart of what my favorites are considered.
I would say least favorite. Why do we analyze this crap so much?
I don't know.
I would say least favorite is the one that would give you recoil from. Like, oh, I'm not touching that.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's take a look at Batman. Like, who do I get annoyed with if this character pops up in Batman books? These dogs running around in the neighborhood.
Oh, well, that's good.
Contact Alexis. Those are his dogs.
Okay. Oh, he's coming around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're watching the neighbors' dogs run rampant in the neighborhood.
And they're little dogs.
And they're tiny dogs. I don't want them to get taken by crocodiles that live across the street. Like,
well,
literally
crocodiles don't, but
I mean, alligators live literally across the street on the pond, so I don't want those dogs to get taken. My least favorite that I see appear and I'm like, ugh. This is tough. It is tough. Least favorite. I still don't have an answer. I really got to think about this.
Well, good. She didn't ask you.
Well, he asked me the other day, and I couldn't have an
Oh,
answer
okay.
for him.
Well, that's you obviously didn't do your homework.
Yeah, I forgot about it actually.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is almost exactly 2.5 hours that we've been streaming.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys, I will be back Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, to hang out and kind of do a similar situation. I was going to try and finish this box, but I don't think we're at
I
that
think
point.
he's getting hungry.
I'm getting hungry. It's
I think I'm just gonna
it's
make
6:30.
I think I'm just gonna make dip and pork rinds for dinner.
That works as well. But you guys, anyway, thanks for hanging out with me throughout the evening, and I will be back, like I said, Wednesday night, 8:30. I'm going to be talking about Mainframe Comic Con. That I am part of the Artist Alley on that. And I'm hoping to figure out a little bit more information on what that means for me exactly.
I think it's gonna be cool no matter what.
I think it'll be cool no matter what as well. Yes, correct. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here.
If you want to follow me, I'm at G Von Cupcake on Instagram.
Questions at G Von Cupcake, GVON Cupcake on Instagram. I'm at TV Artworks on Instagram as well. And so I will meet you here at 8 o'clock. Maybe Gretchen might be chilling out as well. It's 8 o'clock. She'll probably be.
My craft supplies might come. My art supplies might come, and I might be all huff and glue. I mean, gluing stuff together and stuff.
Huff and glue. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here, you guys. So thanks so much for hanging out, and I will definitely talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.